Good morning, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching, it is appreciated as always. If you find value in this video, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It does help me out a lot. A lot of people making a lot of noises today about Labour threatening to cancel or delay the next general election. And it's based on an interview that the Labour chair had on Sky News earlier on today. It says here, Labour Party chair now refusing to rule out delaying the next general election, which will be in 2028 to 2029. I'm going to outline in this video why I think this is unlikely, and Labour would be borderline insane to even consider doing this. First things first, we need to play the video, and then we can get into what we're going to do next.
If I were interviewing somebody in Latin America or Africa and they said what you've just said to me, you'd already be saying banana republic, speechifying about the dangers of authoritarianism. If the government were to find that there was some complex reorganisation going on, for example, somebody might have pledged to get rid of the House of Lords and they might be deciding to do that in 2028. Might that be a reason to put off a general election in 2028-29?
No, we've still got a huge amount of elections coming up this year in Scotland, in Wales, all of London are out. We've got elections across the country. We've got a huge programme of elections coming up in May. So you can't.
You've given 63 local authorities the option to delay their election so they can stay in office for another year. It's probably rather cheap to say turkeys and Christmas and what are they going to choose? But really?
Well, the reality is we're moving to unitary council processes. There's a huge restructuring of local government.
This restructuring of local government is all about putting more power into the Labour-controlled urban centres. My area, up in Cheshire, I live in Runcorn, is for some reason under the Liverpool Combined Authority with Halton Borough Council. It takes power away from Runcorn, it takes power away from local people in Runcorn and Widnes, and gives it to the Metro Mayors in Liverpool. This is what Labour wants, and this is what Labour is doing. It's not about saving money, it's not about efficiencies, it's about consolidating their power base.
And it's really difficult for them to manage that alongside, running elections as well. So they're very clear with us that they want to have the time to do this properly. We're in discussion and debate with them. But the priorities, we've got a huge programme of elections this May. But the reality is, while we're undertaking massive restructuring, as I said, the biggest in a generation, it's really important that we give councils the capacity to do this so they don't keel over.
An important historical side note, as I mentioned on the channel before, within 2 months of World War II ending, we organised an entire general election, and Britain was decimated. We didn't have many people at home, there was still rationing, the economy was on its arse, and yet we still managed a general election within 2 months of ending World War II. So I find it hard to believe that you need more than a few months to reorganise local councils. I'm just not buying it. The Uni Party, Team Red and Team Blue are terrified of Reform UK and the Nigel Farage-shaped elephants in the room. That is the reality of the situation.
All right, so just to be absolutely clear for viewers who are currently shouting at the television screen, even if things are difficult and there is reorganisation of Westminster, as I say, you promised to get rid of the House of Lords, there is going to be no delay on a general election.
We promised to get rid of hereditary peers, and we're undertaking that programme. So, that is ongoing. And the general elections always come at the decision of the Prime Minister, and that's the reality of the process that we have in this country. And I'm looking forward to spending the next couple of years setting out our programme for reform and delivery for the country.
Yeah, there's an outer limit, which I think is January 2029 or something like that. And what I'm not hearing you saying is that this Labour government can't see any circumstances on which you would choose to do what you've done in local authorities for local authorities and delay a general election, which I've got to say I'm finding surprising that you can't just say no general election will go beyond the 5-year term.
She doesn't want to disobey her master. She doesn't want to disobey Keir Starmer. She doesn't have the pre-approved answer, so she doesn't want to give it. The reality is, Keir Starmer is all but powerless, and we're going to get into that in the video in a moment or two. What she's saying here is a lot of words with no actual substance behind it. She's just trying to delay the interviewer, Trevor Phillips. She's just trying to delay him because she's got nothing of value to say, like most Labour politicians, if not all of them.
Well, of course, the general election will come. The House of Lords aren't elected, so I'm a bit sort of confused as to why House of Lords reform would impact on a general election. So there's no change to a plan for a general election, but there is, of course, a lot of reorganisation going on at local government level. We've got to run these elections.
But all right.
No.
All right.
I'm not sure where this has come from, but no. We're not.
Okay.
I mean, I'm thinking about the elections in May. That's our priority, and setting out our programme to come over the days, weeks, and months ahead for what we're delivering for people in.
You're delivering nothing but nothing anybody asked for. All right, nothing of value will be lost when you leave. We're going to end that here. We're going to end that here. Labour's clearly terrified they're going to be losing hand over fist in every single local election, mayoral election, Senate, Holyrood to reform the UK. That's pretty much clear at this point. There's a few things that people need to be mindful of. There's a lot of people scaremongering online. There's a lot of people getting ahead of themselves regarding what was said in this interview or what wasn't said in this interview. This Labour politician is clearly out of her depth. She's not got a pre-approved answer, so she just tries to filibuster because she's got nothing of substance to say. A couple of things that people need to be aware of. Parliament automatically dissolves after 5 years in the United Kingdom. That's an automatic thing, which I'm going to get into here. The automatic dissolution at the end of term. Under the Dissolution and Calling of Parliament Act 2022, which repealed the Fixed Term Parliament Act of 2011 and restored the pre-2011 system, the maximum term of Parliament is 5 years, with the date from when it first met to a general election. If no earlier dissolution occurs, the Parliament is automatically dissolved at the end of the 5-year period. This triggers a general election, polling day within 25 working days of the dissolution. This automatic dissolution is statutory and does not require any action from the Prime Minister or the King. The monarch has no role in forcing an early election if the Prime Minister refuses to request a dissolution before the aforementioned 5-year term. This is important at the moment. This is the reality that we're currently in. So based on this, the latest date of the general election would be on the 15th of August 2029, and the latest a dissolution would automatically occur would be on the 9th of July 2029. Now, there's a couple of things here. That's how the law currently stands, and that's how the legislation currently reads. However, the Labour Party, the ruling Labour Party, could introduce legislation to get rid of those clauses in the legislation from 2022, which restored the pre-2011 constitutional arrangements. They could do that. It would be political massacre if they even attempted to do anything like that. And if through some miracle they got it through the Commons and they got it through the Lords, the King would have to assent to it. He's not going to do that. It would be a constitutional crisis, alright? I can't see any circumstances that this would actually happen, so people can bluff and they can bluster and they can say, oh, well, we're considering doing it, or they can try and make political hay of it. The likelihood is Labour's going to go early, and I've said this before now. I've said it again, and I'll say it, I'll keep on repeating it. Keir Starmer is universally unpopular with the Labour Party, the general the general electorate. The Tories, Reform, the entire country hates him, which is why he spends most of his time abroad. Even his own cabinet wants him gone. That much is clear. The only thing the Labour Party can hope to do is go early, with a new leader, and plead forgiveness. They will still lose. That's beyond question at this point. This is the last Labour government we're ever going to have. However, if they go early under a new leader, they may mitigate some of the worst excesses of their loss. That is my view. Your mileage, as always, may vary. We are going to get a general election, and my bet is it'll be in 2028, not 2028, not 2029. They are going to go early under a new leader. Now, if you like this video and you think I'm onto something, make me aware. Comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.